What's good and baby's driving me crazy. My obsession for Western, my dance for a day. My Romeo and cowboy guard from head to toe. Gonna make you mine and get in line. 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you remember Steps? Steps were a band from the 90s and early 2000s who mostly had hits with cover songs of previous bands. Now in 2004, MTV decided to follow around Lisa Scott-Lee, previously of Steps fame. I mean, I will be honest, she probably was the most popular member of the band, so maybe MTV thought they were making the right decision to do so. However, I have watched all 8 episodes, and unfortunately, not much happens. Apart from, it really should be called The Humiliation Trials of Lisa Scott-Lee, because they really put this poor girl through it. I thought, so you don't have to watch it, I'll watch it. All 8 episodes are uploaded on YouTube. Now, you might not know this TV show, but you will know the meme if you're British, or go on Love of Huns, or any sort of British Facebook meme page. Clip of Lisa, lovely Lisa saying, 23.
Oh, that's really shit.
Shit. And that clip's in the first episode, so you can tell people haven't really watched any further than that. Now, I have never seen a reality TV show that before the intro has even started, they are absolutely taking the mick out of Lisa and Steps. So we start off with a series of clips from various shows saying they're splitting up and all that, and then you got the guy, oh my god, I can't remember his name, he used to be on the MTV show Gonzo. He's talking crap about them, saying, oh, and the worst thing is now you're gonna have 5 solo albums from all of them. Oh god, how terrible. Past these introduction clips and you get into the opening credit sequence. The whole song is about how her and her family members keep getting dropped as artists.
So it's the story of the family. It's a game of make or break, 'cause they all know how to get dropped.
Lisa Scott-Lee, she's just got dropped. Husband Johnny is supportive because he also got the chop. Now Lisa's married to Johnny, who used to be in another UK band called Hearsay. Probably best known for Pure and Simple Gonna Be There. Hevo in the show is having a career on Broadway, so he's not doing too bad. And then it's also got her brother, Andrew Scott-Lee, who's also been dropped. He used to be in a band called 3SL with Lisa's other 2 brothers, hence the 3SL, 3 Scott-Lees. Them 2 brothers do not feature in this at all. I don't know why. I don't know if they made the right decision to stay the hell away. But only Andrew features with his girlfriend Michelle, who is a member of Liberty X, the more successful group, as it also mentions in the song. Oh god, I knew all that off the top of my head. That's so sad, I really shouldn't. But in the intro as well, we've got these caricatures of them. I think they're trying to go for like the Osbournes intro feel, but I'm not sure because this intro doesn't make much sense. There's like, I thought it was Vegas references at first, but it just seems to be random imageries in the background. And then they have 6 characters around the side. Assuming this is manager Nathan, and the other 2, I was a little for a while, who the heck are these supposed to be? Now I think one of them's meant to be Lisa's nan, but she literally only features for probably not even a 4-minute screen time throughout the entire episode, so god knows why they decided to put her on there. But then the 6th one on here, for ages I was like, who is this supposed to be in the show? They don't turn up to the 6th episode, and they're an absolute icon. So it's actually a good job they do turn up, and probably why they did put them in the intro, even though they're only in the last 3 episodes. So after mocking Lisa in the intro, kinda introduces us to her family and other people who will be recurring characters throughout this season. And Nan shows here in the first episode, but she doesn't show up again till like near the end. And I love how she says, "We try to feign an interest in Lisa's career. Try."
And we put all these pictures around for her, she likes to think we take an interest.
Lisa's family are quite sweet. They're all very supportive throughout the show that they really want to do her best. A few dodgy moments with them, but other than that, lovely family. Now we get to the clip of number 23 quite early on in the show, really.
Okay.
Just tell me what it is. Come on, Nate.
23.
Oh, that's really shit.
I'm disappointed.
I don't even know what single this was for. I might know Step's career, but I know nothing of their solos. I don't think anybody else releases any solo singles apart from Lisa from the band. So the one that's number 23, never heard it in my life. I'm not even going to look it up for this. That's how dedicated I am.
Me next year, it would be me being tough again, being a bit more positive, getting into the studio, working on some new tracks, going back to square one again, going around all the record companies, trying to get that solo deal again, reinventing myself. God, you know, there's a lot of hard work.
Even from this first episode, I was thinking, what is it that MTV were hoping to catch? Were they really hoping to catch Lisa beginning on the solo career and what it's like for people starting solo careers? Or really someone starting from the bottom? Now we're here. Starting from the bottom. But none of my crew's here. None of them came. I mean, in the famous 23 clip we have here, Lisa rocking the frosted lips look. That is something that... Matching your lips to your skin tone so they almost faded in on pictures and looked like you didn't have any lips at all was very much the trend early 2000s, very much so. Johnny too is absolutely rocking the hair gel extensions.
But Johnny calls me a baby wife because I'm not a full wife yet.
Baby wife?
I like being a baby wife. I don't feel like an adult and I don't feel like a wife.
No. Johnny just says I'm a baby wife because I'm not a full wife. I'm just a... Yeah, that sounds dodgy as hell. That sounds dodgy as hell. Not a full wife? What makes a full wife? You're married. I think that's all the credentials you need. That's it. They don't want to think themselves as old, even in that type of way. So going you feel like a baby wife is a way to delude yourself into youth. It's still a really weird... Other than that, it's just a really weird thing to say. Like, who wants to be a baby wife? Who would want that? Now, at this point of episode 1, we are introduced to the worst relationship ever committed to film, Andy and Michelle. These two have the worst relationship I've ever seen on television. It is, every time they're on screen, it's just, oh. And I know I can't really fully judge because it's an edited reality TV show, but they don't seem to like each other very much. And I think they involved the Andrew and Michelle relationships because they didn't have any footage to show of Lisa and her career. I am so sorry to this girl. I'm really sorry, Lisa. They really didn't have any footage to show of you. I wonder why the other two brothers aren't involved. Why is it just Andy? Is it because he's dating Michelle? Is it because they just really needed somebody who was having a successful career at the time? Well, they're hoping that Michelle was going to bring more of her Liberty X friends around, but she never did. Now, there's this really weird thing about the show when they're trying to name who Lisa Scott Lee fans are. Every time they're going through the fan base, they go, oh, she's really popular with men. And then they start talking about how she needs to get her clothes off more, and it's like, no, that's not popular with the men that she's popular with. They're not here for that. Lisa seems to realise that her audience are gay men, but her production company and who are filming this do not at all have any sort of inclination. I mean, Lisa knows. She's like, I'm going to wear the rainbow dress tonight. Lisa said gay rights. She's an ally.
Secrets.
This idea came from Lisa and I getting drunk at the Ivy.
It did, didn't it?
I mean, it's crazy to think that even being number 23 in the charts is something that she sees as something bad. Like, I would love to be number 23 in the charts. My favourite artists who are out now performing haven't even hit 23 in the charts. The pros of music being so saturated is that you can always find music you like. You don't have to listen to 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't have to listen to Bewitched like we did. No choice. We had no choice in the early 2000s. That was it. You had what was on the radio. I don't need to listen to that music anymore. I can pick what I want to. But the downside of that is no music is ever going to sell in the numbers that even Steps sold, or any other band of those earlier time frames. They will never reach the units. So for Lisa to moan about position 23 only less than 20 years ago, it just seems so crazy now. So crazy. Now, the best running joke of the show is manager Nathan used to be in a band in the 80s, and he likes to mention this quite often.
It's really tough. I mean, I went from my days in Brother Beyond to having no deal.
He likes to bring up that he got a number 2 hit in his band in the 80s. The show really uses this as a running joke, and to be honest with you, when I was watching these 8 episodes, every time the Nathan mentioned his band, I was already getting ready for that clip of him. Best running joke of the show, the Nathan clip. Two brothers, 2 brave brothers, 2 boldly brave brothers. I think that's what his band was called. Now, also on this first episode, we have Michelle pressuring Andy into proposing to her because they don't seem to understand how the concept of marriage works. And don't seem to understand it's the type of thing that you do when you want to spend the rest of your life with a person, while they seem to think it's for like a publicity thing that you do. Yeah. Michelle is pressuring Andy to get engaged to it. It's almost becoming like an arranged marriage. Andy doesn't seem keen, but he's being told he's got to propose. And then also he can't tell the rest of his family he's going to propose to Michelle because they have a magazine deal with OK, who are going to reveal that Andy and Michelle have got engaged. Now this causes quite an argument in the show. Lisa is furious when she finds out that Andy and Michelle have got engaged and they can't tell him because the papers have got to have exclusive rights. And I will say Lisa goes a little bit overblown with it, but still, it is crazy to me to not tell your family you're getting married because you have exclusive rights with a magazine. And you know what surprises me more? Because they're going on about, oh, we couldn't tell you, Lisa, in case, like, you know, the magazine's got to have exclusive and in case anybody leaked it. Who the hell, even in 2004, would give a damn that Andy Scott Lee and Michelle from Liberty X were getting married? Even if you told me that then, in 2004, my response would have been, who? And then when you explained who they were, I probably would have been like, and? Who cares? Who's that an exclusive to? That is the most craziest part of me. Who on earth, OK Magazine, thinks that Andy Scott Lee and Michelle getting engaged is a scoop? Episode 2!
Annie, you know what? At the end of the day, people either like you and they want to be on your side, or they don't.
Maybe they don't like
me. And you know, I think if they like you, you know, it's a difference.
They don't like me?
Well, I've got to be honest. I think that a lot of the time they don't.
I feel like this has been chip-chopped a little. But basically, once again, Lisa's own show roasting her on the intro. My God, if I was Lisa, I probably would have slapped every single crew member who worked on this. Oh, there's a bit here in the supermarket as well. I mean, this is how little footage they had. Michelle from Liberty X is in the supermarket, and somebody thinks that she's Victoria Beckham from Spice Girls.
Excuse me. No, I thought you was.
Who?
So the Spice Girl. David Beckham's wife, Victoria.
Oh, I wish. No, I've only got him as my boy. Oh my God.
From a distance, obviously, that man was cutting my man.
Michelle better take that as a bloody compliment, because Victoria Beckham is one of my faves. I love Victoria Beckham. She's amazing. She's the icon. She's the moment. She's forever. I will always stand. She is the funniest member of Spice Girls. Michelle should have gone home and been so flattered that someone thought she was Victoria Beckham. Okay, more examples of straight people being crazy in the show. Johnny and Lisa are having their first wedding anniversary. They get fully dressed up in their wedding outfits. The suit, the full bridal dress, to sit down for dinner. I will give them props for the commitment. Well, this is too much. These people absolutely love wedding as a religion. It's crazy. Being married's not that cool. Trust me, I've done it once. It was shit. We're then shown a montage of Lisa going about doing her career activities. But it's more... God, you know what it reminds me of? The stuff she's doing here is actually it's like she's doing influencer work, but without being an influencer. And she hates it. Like, it's just promotion. She's just going to places and she's just been hired for her name of Lisa Scott Lee, and it's just standing in places. There's this bit here where they have a clip of Lisa hosting a pageant, and they have a bit where the person goes, "So Lisa, do you think anything like this has place in modern society?" And he just doesn't show Lisa's answer, doesn't show that she's going to respond in any positively or negatively, and just goes into Green Day. We also have what I see as one of the most cringe store openings I think's ever been committed to film. So they have this bit where Lisa's supposed to be opening a jewellery store, which is a little confusing to me because it looks like the store is already open. You can see people in the background there, and all they're doing is cutting a ribbon with two women on both sides. They couldn't even get any pillars or anything like that. Just two people holding a ribbon across a store that already looks open because there's people inside, and Lisa Scott Lee cuts the ribbon. I also love the line when he says to Lisa, "So, what do you think of the shop?" And she says,
Well, I got invited, so I'm here. And
"I have no opinion." Now, Andy told Michelle that he would propose when he got a record deal, and he does get a record deal in episode 2. I am guessing that nothing came of that record deal because I checked on Wikipedia and Andy only ever released one solo single, and that was in 2008, 4 years after this came out. So that was a lie. And they're on holiday and having this awful bickering back and forth. God damn, I really hate their relationship and can't stand every time it's shown on camera. It just seems they're terrible for each other. But Andy actually flies home to Newcastle while on holiday, flies back to Newcastle to ask Michelle's parents if he can take their daughter's hand in marriage. That is crazy. I guess dedicated, crazy. I don't think he needed to do it. Because even when he tells Michelle he did that, she's like, "You didn't, did you?" It doesn't seem to matter too much. I mean, it's really outdated. It's so outdated asking the parents if you can get married to them because it's, "Hey, I know your daughter's your property. Can I make her my property, please? Thank you." So Andy finally gets his record deal, and even though he's excited about the record deal, he's absolutely gutted now because now he's got to propose to Michelle because he told her he wouldn't propose till he got the record deal, and he has now, so tough luck, mate. You're gonna have to propose. The sum up of episode 2, nothing happened. Now, episode 3 actually has something happen. I know, shocking for the series. Episode 3 is the first mention of if Lisa doesn't get a top 10 hit, then she's going to give up music. Now, Lisa was the one who said this. And she admits this. She admits this. She will say it later on. We'll get there. We'll get there. But Lisa is the one who says, if I don't get a top 10 hit, I'm leaving music. Now, obviously at the time when she said it, she was feeling quite good on herself. She wanted to prove herself. However, the problem was this statement now becomes the ruling narrative of the entire season. Just every episode, everything of Lisa's life orbits around this statement she made that if she doesn't get top 10, she'll quit music. It's an awful concept to base a show on, but here we are because there's nothing else going on in the show, so they need to cling to everything that they get handed. Now, this was quite exciting for me. Lisa Scott Lee writes songs the same way that I used to write songs with my mates when I was a teenager. Oh, he's a boy and he's got 2 eyes. He looked at me and I got surprised. Eyes, me, too, you, let's be together for you. You know, that type of shit. Lisa's manager is the joke that just keeps on giving. He's meant to be managing Lisa and her brother. However, he's more interested in getting himself gigs, promoting. He's not even promoting anything. But he's more interested in getting himself some gigs than Lisa or Andy. I don't think he wants to be a manager. I think he actually wants to be a performer. I love how Lisa and her dad seem to be roasting Nathan here.
Wow, was he?
Well, it was entertaining.
Entertaining.
It was, yeah. I think he enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it.
Yeah, but did you all enjoy it? Or did he enjoy it?
Yeah. I mean, he did go out of key a little bit, but apart from that, it was okay.
Are you ready for love?
Lisa sings at a football match in this episode, which was originally a gig that was given to her by Noel Harding, another former member of Hearsay. I guess, I don't know what Noel would have sang there. Maybe Pure and Simple 6 times over. I hear Lisa's parents talking, and it seems they're very worried about their daughter.
A bit worried about how she's been this week, you know, the pressure of it all. She's been really down.
No, I've noticed that this week.
And the show also mentions as well, like her manager Nathan and her parents often mention that Lisa cries a lot. She cries all the time. Rarely show it on the show. But there's lots of mentions of her crying in the show. Her family are quite upset that Lisa's always upset herself, feeling sympathetic for her. Sounds like they would love for her to give up on the career, but no, that's what she really wants, so want to support what keeps her happy. Her family seem overall very nice and supportive people. We are revealed that Lisa only has 5 weeks to record, film a video and promote this single. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Why would you set yourself a Herculean task of getting the top 10 hit and only give yourself 5 weeks to achieve that goal? I don't think MTV would put this in now, or somebody would step up and say something, because this bit here, there's another guy, not quite sure who he is, and he's saying people are banging on his door to see sexy Lisa. They want tits, ass, Lisa's, and they want it in FHM. They want her to strip off because they've done studies and she's got a prominently male fan base.
But I'm just not that kind of person.
I mean, this sexy Lisa image is not something you should shy away from, and I felt that maybe you have of late.
Yeah, because I've done that, and yet I still, last time it still didn't get me into top 10, and the time before when I released Too Far Gone, I still didn't get into top 10, and I did all that, and I felt shitty about it because I don't want to be parading around with nothing on.
No.
2 men here saying to Lisa, if you ever want to get anywhere in life, you need to strip, show your body, and talk about your sex life. And Lisa's crying.
It is a tough one. It really is. I mean, I feel caught between, I don't want to exploit you.
No, I don't.
Only if you want to be exploited, if you know what I mean.
I want to be an artist and known for singing and having good songs, not for getting my kit off.
And I understand that. I mean,
But what I'm being told, and is that I have to go sexy to get my pictures in the paper.
But she's saying that's not what she wants to do. That's not who she is. And he fucking played to her. This scene, when I first watched it, I was just like, I cannot believe the absolute full-on sexism that is showing towards Lisa here, and the fact that she's the only woman in the room with 2 men who are telling her that she needs to take her clothes off if she ever wants to be popular. It's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I'm so glad that she said, no, I don't want to do that. But I'm also angry that her tears weren't enough for them to think, oh God, maybe this is a bit much that we're telling someone to take their clothes off for the job. Oh my God, it's Walter Mercado.
According to the stars, Lisa Scott Lee is going to be a mega star.
Who I only know of because Alexis Mateo played him on Snatch Game on All Stars.
Because I am a psychic and I can tell she's confused and she regrets being here.
I would have had no idea otherwise. No idea. Do I have any idea while he's here? No, I don't. I don't at all.
Every day I'm a winner.
I'm a winner.
You have to sexy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to project sexiness.
Yeah.
Elegant sexiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You follow me?
I do.
This is not sexy. This is... Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't even know why this bit was filmed. Was Walter in the area? Did they make Lisa go to Walter? It seems like it was filmed for a different show because the backdrop as well is so different. What was this footage for?
People want to see Lisa. Lisa. You are a very...
Episode 3 ends with Michelle and Andy finally getting engaged. They've only been mentioning it since 1 and 2. And now they finally showed the moment where Andy proposed by using fortune cookies and Michelle didn't really click what he was doing.
Yeah. I love it. But it's got to go back to the ring man, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. What are you telling them to do?
Just stick more diamonds on it.
Episode 4 starts with Lisa being fuming, absolutely raging at Andy for not telling her and the family that he got engaged to Michelle. So episode 4 is actually about this. It's about Lisa being annoyed at Andy for not telling the family they're getting married. And I couldn't care less. I think episode 4 is probably the dullest episode out of it. I'm just going over my notes and all I've got written down was Lisa is angry at Andy and Michelle for getting married and not telling her. And that's all I've got written for this episode. I don't understand why there's 8 episodes this season. It was early 2000s, Sean was quite new. And I don't really think that reality TV shows at the time, they weren't great at building storylines. That's something we see develop as reality TV has moved along. I got to episode 4 and I generally thought, should I really carry on? I'm glad I did though, because there's some top-notch moments in 6, 7 and 8. You just, honestly, just watch episodes 6, 7 and 8 of this season and you get all the best moments, because that's the whole build-up for the show, the bit when you really get to see the cogs behind the machine. Lisa and Michelle have an odd relationship throughout the show. You can tell they're not really friends as such, but they seem to be forced to spend a lot of time with each other, and I think it's just more for the show. I honestly think the show asked Michelle to hang around more, just so they could get footage of her, and she in the background is still having her career with Liberty X, but not of it being showing she's still getting top 4 hits. And there's a bit in episode 4 where it's meant to be Michelle's birthday party and Lisa's supposed to be turning up with her friends. She forgets the gift, and then it looks like her and her mates don't even go in. They just get really drunk and make terrible jokes about the word scone. So in episode 4 though, we are eventually introduced to this icon, Rosanna McBride at Concept Records, who is the only level-headed person throughout this entire show. Seems to absolutely hate the idea of the show being there and just despises everything they do and every step of the way. Lisa has no control over her career. I mean, not that I expected that that bit wasn't a surprise, but she can't even pick what song to release from her album. They're going to decide that for her. Lisa wants to release Now or Never, but they make out, oh, get over it, you should be happy that we're even releasing your track. You should be happy we're even looking at your way, Lisa. And then she calls Johnny in the gym, tell him he has to go to the gym every day because he's in Starlight Express! Johnny's in Starlight Express, and I watched the YouTube video, The Wait in the Wings on Starlight Express. That show is demanding. Johnny must be exhausted. He's skating every day. So, episode 5 opens with Michelle from Liberty X asking Andy, has anybody ever said anything about our relationship? Has he ever said they're suspicious of our relationship? Andy and Michelle are not shown to be a good fit throughout the show. And when Michelle's like, oh, is anyone suspicious? Has anyone been saying anything? And I was like, no, I've said nothing. And Michelle just goes, I'll find out if they had. Michelle, you're the only one asking. You'll find out. You'll watch the show and go, caught them. It was me. I was the one suspicious of a relationship. I was the one. And Andy's like, oh yeah, it's not about the money. I'm getting paid 40k for that panto. 40k for a panto in 2004? Andy's talking to Johnny, and Johnny tells him he does Starlight Express 8 times a week. 8 times a week on rollerblades on Starlight Express, that maniac show, the one about trains. You see Lisa re-recording Electric, I assume for the record release, because Max is there. This isn't unusual. They'll tend to trick little things when something gets picked up. A lot of times the single version that's released is not the same version on the album. I know that because it used to confuse the hell out of me when I was a kid. I used to be so confused listening to some of my albums as a child, being like, these don't sound like what's on the radio. And as someone who brought all the Smash Hits, I went to Smash Hits concerts, I saw Steps at Smash Hits concert one year, I have no memory of Free LS songs at all. I do vaguely remember that Lisa's brothers formed a band and they got publicity just for that. I can't remember a single one of the release, and as I said, the other two brothers are mysteriously absent from this. It's just Andy's career. We also see sections of Andy performing, probably Nathan as well, because he's far too more concerned about his own career than Andy's or Lisa's. We also see Andy surrounded by girls getting autographs. As I said, I went to Smash Hits concerts and stuff like this very commonly in the early 2000s, late 90s, and I have many autographs of band members who either went nowhere or became famous. You would just crowd them and get an autograph no matter who they were. You didn't know who the hell they were, you would just get one. So don't get too excited if you're an up-and-coming band and tons of girls start surrounding you for autographs, because they just want it just in case. Just in case. Speaking of the 40k panto, Michelle's not very happy that Andy will be kissing girls. Be kissing a girl who's playing Cinderella. And I love this bit when Michelle's like, is she pretty, Andy? Is she pretty, Andy? Is she pretty, Andy? And Andy's just straight up ignoring her. And I'm sorry, Michelle, of course she's pretty. She's playing Cinderella. Not the Ugly Stepsisters. She's playing Cinderella. What do you think? Do you think she's pretty? We get a bit where Andy and Lisa, I don't know if it's to save money, but they both decided they're going to film their music videos on the same day. We see none of the filming of Andy's, just of Lisa's. It's kind of like a cheap space theme. It looks okay. It looks okay. Honestly, myself though, if I was Lisa and or Andy, and we both had to film our videos on the same day, what I would have done is, while Lisa was filming her video, I would have had Andy in the background filming his, but it wouldn't focus on him at all. And then when it was Andy's music video, I would have had it filming him with Lisa's in the background and not focusing on all. So then people would have watched both music videos to see like either side of it. And if they were going to release the songs on the same day, that would have been perfect. However, that's not happening. So one bit that did happen in episode 4, they were joking that the record label was going to make Lisa and Andy put their songs out on the same day as competition. And Andy was like, no, I won't do that, because he knows he'll get trounced by Lisa. And I kind of agree that it would have been good promo for him. I know they've already gone through this humiliation trials of the show, but I think it's one of the few things that probably could have prompted Lisa up a bit more. If they did it like a battle of the siblings, Lisa would have got probably a higher chart position, and Lisa could have sacrificed her brother, and if he was a good brother he would have done that for her. The manager, Nathan, he pulls Andy aside to tell him that they decided they are going to release the songs on the same day, and Andy's not having any of it. So he won't compete with his sister like that. All the way up to this point, I thought Lisa's dad was quite nice and supportive, and he is, but I didn't know he was also a massive creep. And it's weird how just one moment of somebody can completely obliterate what you thought of them before.
I can't believe that's my daughter. I'll tell you what I will do. I wouldn't mind a photograph for the family album. We've not got one like that, that's for sure. I think her husband, Johnny, would be very pleased.
Well, it'd be nice to have that one pinned up, wouldn't it?
I think a lot of Johnnies would like that.
I bet they would.
It's your daughter. What are you doing? Why are you joking about her like that? You can say your daughter's attractive and good looking, but not in this manner. This is no. And that was episode 5, where a bit more stuff happened, because we got to see filming the music video. She's got a record deal now. Things are moving along, and they've got 4 weeks before the single comes out. Crazy people. After a few weeks of MTV trying to fill up this show with bits of her getting a single, making a single, recording the video for a single, they finally decide to go back to her nan's house, who, despite featuring in the title card, hasn't been seen since episode 1. Now this confused the hell out of me, because I had to check the dates again. It's 2004 this was filmed. She takes around a VHS to her nan's for her to play. A video. In 2004. I assume that she had to specially request this even at the time for a VHS so her nan could watch it. Oh, it's been a while. I don't think we've got a mention of Nathan's band Brothers Beyond in episodes 4 and 5, but here we are again, thank God. This series is so boring that I generally get excited when the Nathan's band is mentioned. It's just like, oh, finally a comic relief from this torture of Lisa, finally. Nathan calls Lisa, says he's been trying to get in touch with her all day but couldn't get hold of her. And she was like, well, I haven't been able to get hold of you. And he goes, well, yeah, I've been performing at Pontines. You're the manager, Nathan, why are you performing? Oh, I thought I'd open up for your brother. You know, they didn't have anyone go on, so I was like, oh, I'll do it. Imagine if you were a band and your manager is going, oh, by the way, guys, is it alright if I go on and open for you tonight? Just fancy doing something. You'd be like, no, you've got other stuff to do. You're managing my act. And Nathan says to Andy, you're easier to manage than your sister. I mean, duh. Like, Lisa's already got fame behind her and stakes, while Andy doesn't. He's got nothing to lose, while Lisa's got everything. And you're not a very good manager. You don't know how to use Lisa's talent correctly. The fact that you are pushing her towards FHM and not her true market. The fact you're not getting her to perform at gay bars.
Yeah, well, Lisa thinks that a manager should manage and an artist should perform.
Well, then she never should have taken me on as a manager because I was already in a band, you know.
Well, that's between you and Lisa, isn't it?
I think you should forget about Nathan and concentrate on yourself. And I reckon you should go somewhere else and get someone to really look after.
Nathan asks for them to switch the cameras off while they discuss fake paparazzi setups. And they ask them to switch the cameras off after it's made clear they're doing fake paparazzi setups.
Ideally what I'd like, some stuff, some pap stuff would be... No?
Don't talk about that. Yeah, exactly. Dear.
Hiya, Dan.
Well, where am I meant to talk about it?
Well, I don't want to talk about it on camera about that. Sorry.
Okay. Guys, can you stop talking for a second, please?
Can we talk about pap stuff?
We've got to talk about work.
Well, we can talk about work as in photographs, but not...
You've already told us. Why are you telling them to switch the cameras off after you've gave the info away that you want to hide? Nathan is a bad manager and doesn't seem to understand how recording works. So anyway, after they have their brief discussion of fake paparazzi pictures, a fake paparazzi turn up to take these pictures. I don't know why they bothered to keep this bit a secret, because most modern media people know that paparazzi shots are either posed, they're rarely candid. You can usually tell anyway, because rule of thumb is, if the celebrity looks good on the picture, then it's probably a posed paparazzi picture. If they look bad, then it's probably one that's just been caught off guard. We have kind of a sweet moment where Lisa is super happy about being played on Capitol. We have a shady moment from Johnny where he's saying to someone, oh yeah, it's good, I heard her on the radio today, yeah. Was it on Radio 1? Oh no, she won't get Radio 1. At this point, there is a large level of delusion going on, especially the people around her. And I think they're keeping Lisa deluded because they want to keep her happy. And then we go on the publicity trail of promoting the single, and Lisa is doing an awful job at promoting herself. She's so nervous. They're like sharks in the water, constantly going on about this. You said you didn't get top 10, you were going to quit music. Is that true? Is that true? Lisa should just be like, no, I never said that. You're all lying. And they went, no, we thought MTV said. No. Just gaslight them. Just say you never said that. Shut that narrative down. Really, Nathan should have been suggesting to Lisa that she stop going on about quitting music if you don't get a top 10 hit. There's more tabloid gossip about Lisa and Johnny splitting up and Lisa throwing all her stuff out on the ground. Now, we know that's not true, because if it was, the show would have shown us. And they definitely would have shown us, because nothing happens in this show. And Johnny and Lisa have been seen quite well together. They understand each other's routine is difficult because they're both performers, but whenever they can spend time with each other, they do. And Lisa gets upset when she can't see Johnny. It's really sweet, actually, how much she cares about him. Yes, in the tabloids they're saying that Rachel and Johnny are having wedding problems, but I don't believe that, because Johnny's making Starlight Express 8 times a week. When would anyone have time to have an affair if you're doing Starlight Express 8 times a week? Rollerblade trains! Rollerblade trains! No one in Starlight Express is having an affair. I will say that confidently, unless it's with another train. Nathan once again shows his absolutely amazing manager skills by dealing with this awfully. They go to a film premiere of Goal to show that they're not splitting up, and anytime they're asked a question about their relationship, Lisa's answering it quite well, and Nathan starts dragging them away. And I don't understand why PR do this sometimes when a celebrity's answering a question well, but then Nathan actually says, like, oh, every time I see these tabloid stories, there's part of me that goes, yes! But then I think, oh no, empathy. I'm supposed to have that for my client. And he goes into a whole tiswas about like, oh no, I was going to be happy about the tabloid stories, but this will make Lisa sad. And if she's sad, I should be sad. I think Nathan's leaking the stories. I think he's the one leaking them. I'm sorry. You can't be so happy about them. It's now 2 weeks to the release of Lisa Scott Lee's track, Electric. I'm feeling electric, turn on the lights, that's called electric. When you've got power in the things, that's electric. I don't know the song. I've watched 6 episodes of this and I don't know her goddamn song she's promoting. My favourite scenes in this entire reality TV show are all the ones at the record label, because that's where that's the only believability of the show, and the only place where people are actually talking honestly to each other. They start talking about if Lisa wants a top 10 hit, then they've got to sell so many units. But Woolworths doesn't even want to take any of her records. And if they don't get Woolworths, there's no way she's going to even get top 10. And they even say they're not even printing enough records for Lisa to get to number in the top 10, even if they were all sold. Even if every record they made was sold, Lisa would not get to top 10. And I just think, what are we doing? Why are we not telling Lisa this? Why are we not guiding her and helping her? Oh, it's so frustrating that they know this info, and I just feel like everyone's treating Lisa with fox kid gloves. I just feel everyone's treating Lisa with kid gloves and not being honest with her. And the only time you get any honesty from the show is the record label, which are brutal, but the only people who are honest. So Max rings Lisa and says to her, Luke, we're not even sending out enough records to the shops to get this to number 10. You just need to be happy with what you got. Which, yeah, maybe. And then Lisa's like, I'm working my butt off. You better print those records. I want a top 10 hit. You better get Wolves. Better get back on the phone to them and get them those records in the store so I can get a top 10 hit. Roseanne does not take this well. She's like, excuse me, we're all working our butts off for you to try and get a top 10 hit. In fact, they're probably working their butts off even more because of the bad publicity Lisa currently has. And the way Lisa's like, print them. If they're printed, they will buy them. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not a case of like, if she has more singles out, it means more people are going to buy them. Basically, they're just trying to stop a waste product from going to a skip.
Dad, if I put, hey guys, just a reminder that my new single Electric is out today. All support welcomed, thanks. Yeah. Lots of lovelies.
Brilliant, yeah, that's fine.
That's kind of saying buy it in a nice way, isn't it? Buy it, bitches.
So we do have a line here, which they play several times because they cannot get over humiliating Lisa enough. When Max says to Roseanne,
but who do buy Lisa Scott Lee records, you know, it's
my question since the beginning.
Such a subtle roast. Oh my god, we're on episode 7, guys. That means it's Lisa Scott Lee Day. Now, MTV have a very special treat for Lisa today. She gets to find out on live television what position her chart single is. Wow. What a lovely treat for MTV to drag Lisa through. We have a live intro on episode 7 where Emma and some other dude are saying, oh, Lisa's in the studio. No, Emma, you can tell that she feels for Lisa. There's obviously some sympathy from her on her part when she says that she's one of the bravest women on pop to be here doing this. Emma's a good egg. You can tell that she's feeling the sympathy for Lisa, which is more than what we can say for most of the people on this show. Now, as it's episode 7, the editors have only got a few more chances to roast Nathan on his single. So they make sure they get quite a couple of them in this episode, which I fully enjoyed, because now any chance to roast Nathan, I'm all aboard for. So this episode starts leaning in really hard that she needs a top 10 hit or she's going to lose her music career, which no one said but her. I mean, throughout watching the entirety of the show, I've never seen once anyone set her this task. They claim that it was the MTV press release of this TV show at one point. You don't see that. I don't think they'd show themselves doing that. Lisa's the only one who mentioned it. She's the only one who set herself this goal. So it feels so weird to me that they're leaning so heavily in it from something that could have just been an offhanded suggestion from Lisa. It could have just been a stupid thing she said. We all say dumb things when wound up and go, well, I'm never doing that again. And we know it's rubbish. But poor Lisa's being held to this. So every TV show Lisa goes on, the entire narrative is, now you're going to quit music if this doesn't get to number 10, aren't you? You're going to quit. You're going to quit. You're going to quit, aren't you, Lisa? You're going to give up your dreams and your goals and everything that you've ever worked hard for. You're going to quit and give it all up, aren't you, Lisa? You're going to leave it all behind. And then poor Lisa's got to respond in the studio with, well, no. Even if I even if I don't get top 10, I'm not giving up. Yeah, but that's not what you said, is it? You said you're going to give up. You said your record label's going to drop you. No, none of that's happening. But they are just hounding her because it's the British press. They're absolute bastards. Nathan, after watching her struggle through several shows, saying about being really nervous, not promoting herself very well, saying if she doesn't release number 10, she's going to give up music. Nathan finally tells her, can you just drop that narrative, Lisa? Don't focus on it. Be positive. If anybody mentions it, just say, no, we're not doing that. Which he should have been telling her from the start. This is the first of good advice he's ever gave her. We now have what I consider the most brutal moment of the Totally Scott Lee show. The CD UK moment.
Now, Lisa, before the break, we asked the viewers at home whether they thought that the curtain should finally fall on your music career. I've got the results in my clammy paw. It's actually pretty close, but 57% said yes, 43% said no.
Well, that's good. That's very good.
Not good.
Has that given you hope then? Yeah, there's always hope. Yes.
I don't think Lisa heard them correctly when she went yay. I think she was just, maybe she was just going for the positive angle that Nathan said, but when they were like 57% said you should give up music, and she's like, yeah, that's good, and then you just hear that other percent going, no, it's not. Now, the show has mentioned several times as it's gone on that Lisa cries every day, and they start mentioning that even more in this episode, that she cries every day. It just sounds horrible because they're basically putting her through bullying every day. No wonder she's crying all the time. She has a moment where she's crying and she says she wished she never said the statement, I'll give up my music career if it doesn't get to number 10, because that's all everyone's focusing about.
AJ this week, but they say, oh well, if it doesn't go top 10, MTV have said she's got to quit, which, you know,
how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel shit about it, and I wish I had never said it.
I bet she never even thought at the time that they'll get her focus on it this hard, because you just wouldn't. At this point, though, Lisa stops fighting that top 10 narrative that she never said that. MTV set the challenge, and she's not going to quit. Even if she doesn't get top 10, she's not going to quit. So she's finally putting that out there, but I think it's a little too late. Michelle. I think Michelle knows what she's doing. But once again, I don't think Nathan's fully lived up to the delusion yet. He starts telling Michelle that they contacted Woolworths and they sold 348 copies in there.
They'd sold 341 records by 1 o'clock, but that's just Woolworths. And then you factor in all the other shops and all the and I know it sounds really crap, but actually it's not bad.
was in like a few weeks ago. I think on our first full day in Woolworths we sold 5,000.
Yeah.
It's just a moment of Nathan going, Lisa and Michelle have quite an odd relationship, because at one point Michelle's still getting hits with Liberty X while the show's going on, and at one point Lisa says, well, if it was a competition, I would still win, because Steps have sold more records than Liberty X have, and that's what we'll be competing on, not solo. Michelle's never done solo. She's only been in a girl boy band like I was, and Steps would win that. Steps would win against Liberty X. We get shown another section of the trials of Lisa Scott-Lee while she's live in the studio, being made to watch these clips of people talking crap about her and her career.
What advice would you give to people that are watching, that are actually thinking about stepping into it?
Well, I think you need to have determination and be prepared to work hard, and
which you've shown.
Yeah, and also that you need a thick skin, which I think we've seen.
Yeah.
And just remember that for every negative person, there's a positive one out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Optimistic. That's what we like.
So Lisa gets back home. I think she's probably more ready for bed, but her family have a surprise party planned for her. Yay!
And then we all stay, and then when she comes in,
Lisa's gonna go.
Yeah, it's been a long day. We need some food.
Okay, this party is quite odd because it feels like it's not a party to celebrate a career, but it's a party to try and keep Lisa happy. Her family know how much she's been crying and how upset she's been. She's getting bullied all the time on television, every day. Every bloody radio studio she goes to, they're just bullying her. So I think this party here is just to keep her in high spirits, and I don't know if it's the best thing, but I can see the sentiment behind it, that they're just trying to keep her happy. They start doing all these fireworks in Top 10, playing the track really loud, going crazy. Watching this episode, I was like, my god, those fireworks are so loud, they're going to wake the bloody neighbours.
Hands, stand next to it, stand next to it.
I've got 2 really upset kids now because that scared the living daylights out of them, and I'm halfway down the other road. Oh, sorry.
I don't understand. If the fireworks are over, what are you going to achieve from complaining? I mean, yes, they were loud, they were over the top. But once you get there to the house and go, your fireworks are waking my kids up, and they're like, well, we'll stop them now. Right, I want an apology. Okay, sorry. You're not going to get much more. Lisa can't rewind time. I mean, I would have offered, oh, do you want me to go sing to your kids? I can do them a lullaby back to sleep. The record label find out that Lisa's new track's in at 28, which they start having a mental breakdown at, because 23 wasn't good enough for her, so imagine 28. However, it's all alright. There was a mistake in the reporting of the sales. She's actually at 13.
This morning, apparently, it was at 26 at 9 o'clock. But there was a problem with Woolworths' accounting system, and when they redid it, it's 15. Right.
Oh, well, it's still not top 10, is it?
The manager tells her this. She's a bit disappointed, but I think this part is the turning point for Lisa, when she stops giving a shit. You can see it in her eyes, the moment where she goes, I don't care about this anymore. There's no way she's going to get higher than 13. I mean, she starts saying all the shops are closed. She can't ring a nan to say, quick nan, go buy 500 copies. And a nan only keeps stuff around to pretend to be interested anyway. And also as well, when they say 13, they find out that Jenny Frost from Atomic Kitten got 45. 45, and Lisa's like, oh, imagine how she's feeling. My queen, Roseanne, she starts, once again, being the only person talking fucking sense, saying that Lisa needs to be happy with a 13th position. They only had 5 weeks to promote it. They've done insanely good for what little time and track they had, and everyone just needs to get over it, shut the fuck up, and not even care what this fucking TV show wants anymore. And she's right. She is goddamn right. She starts just ripping the hell out of the TV show while they're filming it in front of her, saying, I don't give a damn what somebody's written in an MTV press office. This is our client, and we should be dealing with how we deal with it, not with these rubbish cameras. Who cares about the show?
Everybody knows how crazy I went when I was first told that we had to release this record on October the 10th. Everybody knows that I said right then that was insanity. But we've had to work with that because of contractual obligations. And what we have achieved in a 5-week window, with or without this fucking TV show, is phenomenal.
We go back to poor Lisa Scott-Lee in the studio to find out live where her entry was.
So, that was the latest edition of Totally Scott Lee. Lisa, the results are in. The great British record buying and downloading public have spoken.
Yes, now Lisa, everyone at home has already heard the chart, but we've kept you hidden it from it all day, and I can guarantee you now, I can tell you now exclusively, that there are 5 new entries in this week's top 20, and you are one of them.
And this seems a little rough, but we see in the next episode it could have been a hell of a lot worse. A hell of a lot worse.
Your single, Electric, entered the chart at...
Are you ready?
number 13.
Well, Totally Scott Lee's not finished. Oh no. They want an 8th episode so they can see the fallout from Lisa not getting her top 10 hit, because that's what this show's all about, the cruel treatment of Lisa Scott Lee. So, episode 8, we are on the final chapter, finally, of this goddamn torture treatment. It starts off with a montage of all Lisa's most cringe moments from the TV season. That was nice of them.
People either like you and they want to be on your side, or they don't.
Maybe they don't like
me. And, you know, well, a lot of the time, they don't seem to like you.
But who do buy Lisa Scott Lee records, you know? It's
My question since the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't let them steer it in a sort of negative way. You know?
She has a great time performing live at a show because a lot of her fans there. She says that some of the girls that have been following her around, following her career for like almost 10 years, and it's really sweet to see them. And she has a great time performing. It seems like this is a nice bit, because it's nice to see Lisa actually have moments of her life that she enjoys. She talks about her regrets of setting the ultimatum, and she really doesn't want to go through with it. And as they tell her at the record label, you don't have to go through with it. It really isn't something that has to be done. Now, episode 8 also covers the filming of the live sections we just watched in episode 7. Her parents being brought along to the MTV studios. They're not very happy because they're just watching their daughter get bullied on television and say this and say they're not happy and can't wait till it's over because they just want Lisa to smile again and not cry every day.
Lisa's your daughter, your mum. It hurts you more than any others,
yeah,
you know.
Because I am not standing by while Lisa's being bullied.
But
and that's what's happening here.
Michelle's here too, just knocking around with Andy. God knows why. Johnny and Lisa mentioned she's in one of her moods. I really don't think they get on very well with Michelle. Lisa kind of reaches a bit of a breaking point in this episode too. Originally for the live sections, they told her they want to do a countdown where they list from 1 to 10.
13 yesterday. I know, I'm not stupid. I know I'm not going to catch up 1,300 sales. I'm not in the 10, right? So you want me to just stand here when when you go through everybody else who is? It's humiliating.
So what would you rather? What would you rather? Just one moment
of... That's what I'd rather. I'd rather be at home. I'm sick of it.
I don't bloody blame Lisa. I'm so glad she stuck to her guns in this section. Johnny does a lot of the negotiating. I think it's because he too doesn't want to see his wife get messed over. I think Lisa is far too frazzled and heartbroken at this time to do the negotiations herself. So Johnny steps in to say, "You're not embarrassing my wife in further on tally." I don't know what they wanted to do to Lisa. I mean, what were they going to suggest next? Lisa, we were just wondering what position you're at. We've brought in 13 tomatoes and we're going to pelt you with a tomato every time there's a chart position that you're not in. What would you like that? Would you sign off on that, Lisa? Would you like that? Yeah, I'm so glad they fought for this, for them just to say, you've made top 20. I like the bit as well when Johnny's like, just get dressed up nice, Lisa. She's like, no, don't want to put my jumper on, don't want to make an effort. He's like, go out with a bang, go out with a bang. I mean, I will be honest, this is the first time that Johnny's really been around on the scene. It makes me think, like, what if he had a back more, if he was there more, instead unfortunately having to go work himself on Starlight Express. Starlight Express! Would Johnny have been able to defend Lisa? Because I think she really needed him in this moment to step in and say, don't treat my wife like shit, please. Thanks, guys.
If you do the reveal from 1 to 10, we ain't coming on. I'll stand there and do it myself because I don't mind being humiliated. I've done it before.
So you'd rather...
They're only Concept Records are only a small label. We've got a section where Lisa's back talking to them at the end, saying she doesn't have to give up a music career. They're happy to keep her on, and you know, we could get #1 single in Germany or Africa or Paraguay or anywhere in the world.
Dominating the charts in other
I
territories.
think my granddad was Chinese.
Really?
Yeah, because that helped. Whenever we used to go to Asia with Steps, and they always just, you know, focus in on that because I've got Oriental blood and stuff, and they like that.
Do you speak any Chinese at all, or Mandarin?
Bazu Hatsu Bai Chu Katena.
What does that mean?
It means,
My name is Lisa Scott.
it means my album's out now. Please buy it.
Very good.
It's actually Japanese, but it's Oriental, you know.
Yeah.
Happy to keep her on, you know, and she's glad of that, and she's glad they're supporting her, even though the statement that she made hasn't came true. But as they said, that was never them. That was an MTV press release, and they were hated that they had the limitations of that to follow for releasing her single, and it really stifled them too. They even mentioned that they were only doing the 5 weeks wasn't enough, and they were only doing that because of the stupid TV show. If they had had the chance to promote Lisa properly, who knows what single she could have got to. She could have done a heck of a lot better. You know, we never said what country we were going to get top 10 in. We never said that. Gosh, she pulled out on the interviews, started saying, never said top 10 in the UK, did I? Because they couldn't just let Lisa go and just be happy. Where our icon Roseanne Barr appears to be talking about Lisa. Sounds like a more interesting phone conversation than what we're having.
Oh, she dates society, me love. Yeah. Well, I was her label manager for Steps as well, wasn't I? So I know her revolt.
And that's the end. That's the end of Totally Scott Lee. One of the most embarrassing rituals I've ever seen for a reality TV show. I wouldn't recommend watching it myself because it's a real slow burn. It's a real slow burn. There are some good moments in there that are comical and okay to laugh at. Mostly the running joke with Nathan and a few other odd moments, but you can probably watch that on the best of clip that's on YouTube. And episode 8 ends with Johnny and Lisa in a restaurant talking about, do they regret doing reality TV? And Johnny saying, no, don't say that. If Britney Spears was offered a chance to do reality TV, she would take it in a moment. Don't say you regret it. But I would regret this one. This isn't like when you look back on the Osbournes or other old reality TV shows. Well, it might be. I was planning to do a series of this, of looking back at forgotten reality TV shows. Maybe they're all like this. The whole show felt like they just want you to humiliate Lisa as much as possible, and their editing choices were like that too. They weren't trying to protect her, and I would hope that if a reality TV show came out today, they would have a lot more sensitivity to their subject matter than they did on this, because I don't know if Lisa had therapy after this, but good God, I hope MTV offered it. Luckily, I think Lisa Scott Lee's a lot better these days. She seems happier. They're having a bit of a Steps reunion at the moment. Hey, you can even watch a reality TV show about the Steps reunion if you want. I haven't seen that one, but that came out a couple of years ago. God, I wonder if Lisa was having nervous flashbacks to it when they did it. She was probably like, I don't know if I want to do another reality TV show, guys. I know I'm with you lot, but oh. So, thank you for watching me amble through this terrible reality TV show. If you know of any other forgotten reality TV shows you'd like me to review, please comment below and I'll look them up. And thank you for watching. My name's Malia Palmer, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Used to, maybe it's driving me crazy. My obsession for Western. I dance for a day. Romeo, cowboy guy from head to toe. Gonna make you mine, gonna get in line.